All right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight, little change in the lineup. We got Alston back in town and going to sit in for Alex tonight. But as always, we got Adam, Chris, and Keith. We're going to jump into some MLB wild card round reactions. Before we do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button for us, like the video, and as always, feel free to hit us in the comments, which many of you did on our MLB playoff predictions video. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize. I said the Cleveland Guardians were the worst MLB team I've seen make the playoffs in
20
years. So, and sure as shit, they showed up and they decided they wanted to sweep the Rays. The Rays played like absolute ass, and Cleveland, we'll see if you can knock off the Yankees. I would love for it to happen.
Oh, I love to see that.
I can't go easy now. Easy.
I'm not saying it's going to. I'm just saying
hey,
I'd love to see it.
If it happens, I would go ahead and get my handwritten letter.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those chips out.
So, we're going to dive right into this. So, let's go ahead and break down the playoff. We're just going to talk about the wild card reactions here. So, we're not going to go any further in predictions and stuff, but let's go ahead and react to the first four series that we've seen.
So I think one of the biggest takeaways that I took from that is that 3 out of the 4 were sweeps.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to see 3 out of 4 sweeps, and I really didn't expect to see the Phillies sweep the Cardinals. I thought the Cardinals had a lot of momentum going into that series, and I guess they just kind of imploded with that horrible ninth inning they had against the Phillies in Game 1, where they were up 2-0 and let them get the bases loaded and couldn't recover. Yeah, I mean it was just really bad. So I mean I think that's one of the biggest takeaways I take from that is that 3 out of the 4 series were sweeps.
I got a question for you. Does that pose the question of should these be 3-game series or should these be 5-game series?
I think a 3-game series for the wild card round is right.
Because I mean anybody can be beaten in any day in baseball, so then it makes you.
But
I see your argument. I mean, I think it would make the series.
Or a 5-game series.
Because it was like 2 days and bam, wild card was done, and now we're watching the Mets. That was it. Like,
Yeah, I mean, how many teams get down 2-0 and come back in a game of 5 series too, though?
I mean, a decent amount. You play 2 on the road, you play 2 at home.
Next thing you know,
and
you could be looking.
5.
You could be looking at a tied series.
Well, and that's the other thing.
I do like the fact that with a 3-game series, you play all 3 of them in a stadium that should be the top seeded advantage, but. In 2 of the 4 series, that didn't matter anyways. Actually, 3 of the 4 series, it didn't matter actually.
I mean, yeah, because the Padres beat the Mets in New York.
The Phillies beat the Cardinals in St. Louis, and then the Mariners beat Toronto in Canada.
Toronto, yeah. So I mean,
Blue Jays.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Also,
Blue Jays didn't have home field.
Yeah, they were the 4 seed.
Yeah, Seattle was a 6.
Seattle was a 5.
Okay. But also, I do see where you're coming from. I think that would make for better baseball. But then at the same time, you push out the playoffs even further than they already go.
Yeah, then you're really hurting the teams with the bye because they're waiting 7 days.
So I mean, it helps them to a degree to where they can get fully rested. Yeah. But then they also lose that momentum or that mojo they had at the end of the season. So it's a give and take. I can see it going either way. I think this is a better system than what they have with the 1-game play-in.
Oh yeah,
this is 10 times better than the 1-game play-in because, as we all know, the Braves got screwed.
Yeah.
With that situation a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I think they have it right. I just think it was shocking. I think the MLB would have wished for a lot more 3rd games.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my main thing was, you have teams that were very even. Like you look at the Toronto game in Seattle. I think everybody here would say, okay, I'll take 3 games on that series.
I think out of the
none of these games you really, if any game you saw going 2 games and winning, it would be the Mets in 2. If I took any team to win in 2, I think.
Well, no, I would go complete opposite. I think the Padres and Mets series, I would say top to bottom lineup wise, they match up very well together.
But you have Scherzer, DeGrom. I would take Mets in 2.
You have Scherzer, DeGrom, and Bassett up against Snell, who hasn't been good, Darvish, and Musgrove.
Yeah.
All 3 have not been great. I mean,
but I think those were the 2 best teams in the wild card round, followed by Toronto and Seattle.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
So I think the Mets series or the Mets and Padres series going 3, I expected it to. I felt like how those lineups match up together. Pitching duel game 1 and they just
Darvish
shelled.
against DeGrom.
Yeah,
Or
shelled
Scherzer, actually.
Scherzer. Yeah, it
They
was
absolutely hit him.
bombardment.
But I thought going in maybe that was going to be a pitcher's duel, maybe a 2-1, 2-0 ball game, back and forth.
Yeah, and then San Diego dropped 7 on them.
Yeah. So that was shocking. But to see it go 3 games, I was not shocked at all.
So if any of them were gonna go 3. I thought the AL side was gonna go 3 games. I thought both of those series were going to go 3 games. So I thought Tampa.
Not me.
Yeah, not you. I mean, I really thought Tampa had the potential to take that to 3 games and ultimately win. I didn't think Cleveland was going to get shut out, and then I really didn't see Seattle taking it to Toronto like they did. I mean, Seattle.
I'll say
blew that game.
Yeah, Toronto
right?
really blew the game too, more than Seattle took it to them. But good job for Seattle to
Oh
battle
no,
back
it's
and
great
win
for
the
them.
game.
Yeah, it's great for them.
But I feel like
It's
Seattle.
great for that city missing the playoffs for the last 20 years too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great for them.
I feel like Seattle has been hot the last 2.5 weeks of the season.
They've
So
been really hot, yeah.
I think this was great, especially for them winning it the way they did, having what was it, 2 pretty much walk-off win, 2 really big games there at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Came down to the last game of the
To
season
stay-
for
to
them
stay in the wild card.
to stay in the wild card hunt. So I thought they were hot coming in. I'm not surprised they beat Toronto just because of the way they've been playing lately.
Yeah.
Right.
But then, though I picked Cleveland, like you said, not Tampa. Yeah, Tampa.
Tampa.
Tampa was definitely on paper should have been the better team by far. But for whatever,
Just with that experience, yeah.
Cleveland has looked scrappy all year, so I had a feeling they were gonna.
They're a young team who's ready to go. I mean,
I had a
got
feeling
lot
they
of-
were gonna
yeah.
pull that one out, and I hate to see 3 legends of the game in their career in the wild card. I wish Yachty, Albert, and Wainwright would have moved on. That would have been awesome to see.
Like I said, I think that absolute
Implosion
of game 1 just really set them back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that game, you go to game 3, Phillies don't have the best.
Outside of Nola and Wheeler,
Yeah.
they've got no.
So I think I'm in a game 3 in that series. I'm taking St.
Cardinals,
Louis.
yeah.
Yeah, with a little bit of home field advantage too.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that was the thing. It was like if you just hold on to game 1, which you could have
Easily done.
You should have done.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you were 2-0 going into the 9th inning.
Yeah, and then it ended up being 6-3. Like
Yeah.
you even got to run in the bottom of the ninth.
They give up
so,
6 runs in the bottom of the 9th
So
inning.
give up 3,
Top of
you
9.
get your run in your bottom of the ninth.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You get your run in your bottom 9, you're going
Back
to
to-
extra.
yeah.
So like,
Yeah, you just hold them to a single run versus giving up 6.
that would be my question to you: is who was the more disappointment? St. Louis, Toronto, or the Mets?
Probably the Mets.
He's got to be the Mets. It's got to be.
For as much as they led the East this year, they
For
led
as
the
much
East.
talent as they have in
Right,
that lineup.
for the talent they bought on that lineup. Let's get that straight.
I don't care if you bought it or not. There's still a lot of talent.
So
in
for
that
that
lineup.
for the talent that they purchased for that lineup, between the hitting and then the pitching, there's no reason they should have lost the way that they lost.
I would say Toronto is the biggest disappointment. You got a really good lineup there.
Yeah.
Seattle's a good team, I get, but you got to take one game at home. Just make it to a 3rd game.
I actually am I'm on the opposite side of Austin on this. I think the biggest disappointment for me is the Rays. They basically did not show up hitting at all for a team that was in the playoffs pretty deep just 2 years ago.
But it was the World Series 2 years ago.
Yeah, and
3 years ago,
3 years
whatever it
ago.
was. Yeah.
But then you turn around. I mean, the same thing could be said for the Cardinals because I think there's the same discrepancy between talent between what I thought the Rays were better than the Guardians with versus what I thought the Cardinals
St.
had
Louis,
on
yeah.
the Phillies.
Oh, yeah, I thought-
and
yeah.
they just didn't show up either.
Hitting up and down the lineup in St. Louis was much better than the Phillies.
Yeah.
St. Louis had the better pitching staff.
Not through 2 games. That's the biggest
Yeah.
thing. That's your.
I think
and
the
that's-
Phillies had the starter advantage, but I do think that
Well, yeah, well, 'cause they started
ultimately
Wheeler
the
and
Cardinals
Nola.
had a better bullpen, even though they didn't show it in Game 1.
I mean,
So-
you run along with Bryce, Scherzer, or what's his name? Schwarber,
Kyle Schwarber.
and Castellon. I mean, that's a hard.
Castellanos has been really disappointing this year.
Yeah, but still,
That's still a lot of power.
For the money they paid him, he's been really disappointing.
yeah, that's 3 really good bats. That,
You're going to give up a home run to Schwarber, but you're going to strike him out the other 3 times too, though.
yeah,
Same with Bryce. Bryce is going to strike out 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Hopkins is
Reese.
Reese Hopkins is the same way on the team. I mean, you've got a lot of power you can run into.
Yeah, he's double or strikeout.
Yeah, I mean that lineup is kind of like that, but
They're boom or bust lineup.
Yeah.
St. Louis should. I agree.
St. Louis
So-
shit the bed ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's flip this. Who is the most dangerous team coming out of the wild card for an extended run in the playoffs now?
Out of the NL or just out of
Out
either
of
side?
either side. Either side.
I think it's San Diego.
I think San Diego too.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It depends. I mean, I guess lineup. Yes, you say that. but
Lineup, and you got the.
That staff is the big question mark.
I don't know. I don't know that the starters are the question mark.
It's
I think
the
the
relief
entire
guys.
bullpen and closers.
No,
are
the
question
bullpen's
mark.
there. Not Williams.
Is Melanson still?
No,
No.
Suarez
he was in Arizona.
and Josh Hader.
You go Hader, and then
That's
you
right,
have.
Hader has almost 5 ERA since coming to the
Yeah,
Padres.
he's figured it out though.
Yeah.
Did you watch
They figured it out for
him?
one game.
They traded a 4-5 guy for another 4-5 guy.
I watched him in the ninth. He had it. 100 on the fastball, good break on the slider. He's got it. I would say
The Padres has got to be it.
the scariest team coming out is Seattle, but they're running into a juggernaut of Houston. So,
Well, both sides on the AL are running into juggernauts.
the Yankees is not what we think the Yankees is.
I don't think they are either. If the Yankees can hit the ball and stay ahead, they're fine. If they get behind, their pitching is not going to keep them in those games.
I agree. I do agree. But, the Padres run into a juggernaut in the Dodgers. I mean, if you had to take one to win a series, who do you take?
I take the
Because
Mariners.
the four buys
You think
are
the Mariners over Houston?
the four buys are by far the best team.
Oh yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at
there's
they're
no
top 4 in
question.
the power rankings
Yeah.
all across the board.
There's
Yeah.
no question. But
yeah. I think if I'm taking a team to win a series, I'm taking
The Padres beat the Dodgers. That's what I would do.
Philly to be Atlanta. I'm telling you, I'm scared of playing a divisional team.
Five game series, Philly's they're gonna get Aaron Nola and they're gonna get Zach Wheeler,
And
but
somebody's going to throw game 5, which probably would be Nola.
yeah, it'll be Nola again. It'll be Nola and Freeman.
But I mean, I say,
If
but
they
I'm
can
fine
turn
with.
around and get him to
But with
if you're the Phillies, Aaron Nola has pitched very, very good against Atlanta this year, and so
if you get like 2 out of the 5 games.
Yeah, if you get him 2 out of the 5 games, let's say you win both those, you still got to find somebody to beat Atlanta in the rest of your rotation through those other 3 games.
True.
And that's gonna be the
Because
hard
I mean,
part.
you got.
Bullpen
Cause, I'm gonna say because we got. You would assume then.
All our
Fleet-
pitching is healthy.
I'm gonna say you
It's
got
strong.
Fleed,
Well, as long as Strider's
Wright,
healthy.
Morton, and Strider.
If Strider's healthy, he can
As
go
long,
out.
as I mean that like
Right,
those
he's
4
fine.
guys. Those 4 guys have been tough all year.
Seattle runs into Houston that might literally have the best pitching staff of all time. Because Justin Verlander looks like he's 26 years old out there.
He's still
Yeah.
pitching like he's
He got that
26.
gummy
I
on, man.
mean, I don't know what that is, but 38 looking 26.
It's Nolan Ryan reincarnated.
For real.
Yeah.
I mean, the Padres, again, all these, you got a divisional matchup in Houston. You have a divisional matchup in Atlanta. You have a divisional matchup in Dodgers.
Okay.
I mean, it's what baseball wanted. I mean, if you put it across the board, you got close fan bases playing against close fan bases,
Mhm.
and you're seeing people you've seen. So
Oh,
I think
yeah.
there's a good chance that there's an upset in this set of series, just because you hate playing this time of year. You hate playing someone who's seen you 20 times. This
I was
year.
gonna say you've already seen them in what 9 different series
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I mean that will
They
change
played
moving
19
forward,
games,
obviously,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there. So, okay. Any other last takes for the wild card
No,
round?
I'm good.
Good. All right. Well, as always, feel free to hit us in the comments. Let me know if you think I'm absolutely crazy for picking the Mariners over the Astros, which I probably am.
We're gonna get the comments.
Yep. So, and as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.